Well, hello again. I'm super pleased to have Sachin with me from Michaels. Sachin, would you mind introducing yourself before we get started with our little fireside chat here?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm excited to share some of our experience with Treasure Data. A little bit about myself. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I've been working for Michaels for a little bit over 5 years. Have been in this space for entire career. My role at Michaels is really related to CRM, loyalty, and marketing analytics. And in layman's word, all that means is get all the customer data together and make sure use that data to effectively market to our customers. Hopefully all of you guys have shopped at Michaels, have looked at our emails, get our text, and hopefully you find them relevant.
Well, we're getting towards Halloween season, and that's a really fun time to go to Michaels. So yeah, appreciate you being here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about your journey with Treasure Data and with CDPs kind of generally. And one thing that's interesting about Michaels and the work that you've done with Michaels with Treasure Data is that you had a different CDP implemented when you started down the road with Treasure Data. What were you looking to achieve when you kind of embarked on that journey?
Yeah, so with Michaels, actually, this is my third CDP. So I joined Michaels, wow. And as soon as I joined, we moved from our older CDP to the new one. So this was my take two for going to
CDP Migration so much. You got to keep.
No, absolutely. So a couple of things with CDP, the technology kind of evolves, as you guys already know. Every couple of years, it changes. But there were a couple of key things when we wanted to go with Treasure Data. One was the unification. In my older CDP, there were some black boxes that we could not explain in terms of how the unification algorithm worked. And as you guys are aware, that is one of the key components of unification is how do you unify those customer records or create that golden record. So that was one key reason why we went with Treasure Data. Their technology was very transparent in how their unification works. And to add to that was the speed. I distinctly remember the story. We gave them about 5 years of data, which is, for Michael's, billions of records. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking it's going to be weeks, months before I hear back in the proof of concept. And unbelievably, it was like in a couple of days, they came back and said, are you ready to review the profile counts? So the technology was definitely very fast, and that was one of the reasons. And finally, the cost. As technology evolves, it's always prudent to keep an eye on the cost. As the AI technology or CDP technology is evolving, the technology does actually get better, but also gets cheaper. So that was one of the reasons that we decided to move to Treasure Data.
Yeah, exciting. That's great. So we've had a lot of folks in the room here, the sessions that we've seen, talk about the evaluation process that they've done for CDPs. What was your evaluation process like?
Yeah, very robust. I must give kudos to our procurement team a little bit here as well. And my team here who is with me, a wonderful team here who really supported the evaluation process. So it was very extensive. It started with really looking at the Gartner report on who are the best in the industry. And then we shortlisted about 8 of the best of the class vendors that we initially did a scorecard. So my colleague here, Bill, built a scorecard. So we listed every feature on each of the CDPs, and then we scored them. The entire stakeholder team actually scored each of the feature, what they gave. And from that list, about 8, after doing all those demos with 8 vendors, we came down to 3. And with the 3 vendors, we actually did a full proof of concept. So meaning that actually we gave them 5 years of our data and asked them to do some key things, like the unification process was one that we were really looking for, and a couple of other things, the speed at which they would run. So once those proof of concepts were done and made sure that we felt good with the technology that we were investing into, then it became rather easy to say that, look, these are the pros and cons. Now, I will tell you that no one tool is perfect. But because you go through this extensive process, it actually makes it easy to understand where you have wins and where you may not have as good of a feature. So based on your business, you can do the trade-off. And once that was done, then it was just a matter of logistics and contracts to pick the right vendor.
As Rafa mentioned yesterday, we have a trade-up program for CDP trade-up, now for ESP and CEP trade-up as well. A CDP is mature enough where a lot of our new business is replacing a CDP along the way. So I would love for you to share with everyone here your journey with that, and what learnings did you get by switching CDPs?
Yeah. So, as a lot of people on the stage here have said, that really the value of personalization has just escalated and is becoming more and more important as time has gone. I have worked in the CDP space really for the last 25 years. And what I've seen is the value of it just keeps going up and up. And I'll give you some examples, actually. What happens with CDP is it actually allows you to target. By the way, my background is in marketing. So for me, the world of CDP is really how does it help get better marketing to my customers? And what's happened over the years is that the CDP, the technology has allowed you to stitch more and more things together. In the past, it used to be only your transactional data that happens in the store or online. Over time, email got added. Now SMS has gotten added. We're adding a lot of web personalization as well. There are a lot of other signals coming now directly from paid media as well. So what's happening now is with the advance in technology, you're getting so many signals about your customer at various touch points. So you need to act on those as well. And that's where the CDP technology really shines, is a technology that will allow you to not only capture the signals, but then act upon it in a way that it actually improves your marketing productivity. So that's the key thing for me, is when you switch CDPs, look for ways to make your marketing more productive. And that's what we focused on, and that's why we invested with Treasure Data, is because it was just not going from the pain points we were at, but actually going to a technology that is going to allow us to scale up, increase the marketing productivity as we go in.
Yeah, so you talk about signals and how to activate them. I mean, a key use case is typically personalization, which I know has been important to you. So I'm curious, how do you think about personalization, and how has Treasure Data enabled greater personalization?
Yeah. Personalization is at heart to me. I won't be lying if I say sometimes I think about personalization when I dream. So, personalization is such a word that it can be so confusing sometimes, and it is so relevant. For example, I'll tell you, personalization has been used for years. You can put a first name of a customer in your email, and it's also called personalization. But in this day and age, you already know that won't do nothing these days, right? So personalization has taken a little bit of a different, it requires a different kind of thinking. And I'll give you an example. So at Michael's, we did this experiment where we said, anybody who comes to our website, we're going to pick up that signal, and we're going to personalize those emails based on the PDP page they came to or the category page they came to. We did a simple A/B test, and what we found is that just by simply personalizing the customers who came to the website in the last 30 days and sending them a very personalized email, 44% improvement in click rate.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, amazing improvement. I mean, you don't get that kind of improvement. But the problem is, among the total file, only 6% of them come to the website in the last 30 days. So that's where the unlock needs to happen. So that was one segment where we could really personalize and really do very well. Now, what you need to think about is, hey, what are the other segments that I need to personalize? For example, our post-purchase journey. When you come to Michael's and you buy a Cricut machine or you buy a sewing machine, we personalize that entire experience after you buy the machine based on the lessons you can take online, how to use that machine, or how to create craft using those machines. So that's another segment. So really, to do personalization on scale, you have to divide it up into multiple journeys and triggers and experiences. It is not about one experience that fits all. That's where the unlock happens with personalization. As you start dividing these different experiences and creating those journeys, and that again comes back to the CDP technology. 20 years back, CDP technologies didn't do triggers and journeys. That was not even part of it. But now the landscape has changed. Where the data is sitting, the customer data, that's where the decisioning is coming down to. And that's really where you will be able to unlock, based on the customer data, based on the insights you're getting, how do you set up those individualized, not on a one-on-one level, but maybe on a segment level, but the content within those communication can be very personalized. And that's where you'll start seeing the magic happen. The more you do it, you're not going to do it on day one, but you got to keep trying it. And the more test and learns you do, the more magic starts kind of unrevealing itself. In our case, the magic is actually more engagement and more sales.
So now that you have a solid data foundation, what do you plan to do next?
Well, there should be no surprises, AI. So, no,
shocker.
Yeah, shocker there. No, definitely, we have gotten a very solid data foundation with Michael's, with the CDP technology. Now the next thing is, really, I feel like the easy part, actually. The difficult part has already been done. Now it is really using AI and the models and the technology that will actually, I'm going to use the word that somebody may not like, monetize this data. Because now is the time for us to act. With the power of AI, with a small team of 3 or 4, there is only limited we could do. Now with the power of AI, we are able to extend that. So one of the demonstrations that was done was the AI analyst tool. We are actively looking at doing a proof of concept with that in terms of using that tool to get different segments, different insights. Like I said, I want to do personalization as much as possible on a one-on-one level, and I believe tools like those, the AI tools, will actually allow me to reach there. So that's one example. The other one, because we have so much data in our CDP, and this is where I talk about those signals, there's a concept called as multi-touch attribution, which allows you to understand how effective your marketing is in driving traffic or conversion within in-store or online. So there is that concept of using a multi-touch attribution, and especially with all the data being in the CDP now, it's much easier to get the signals of actually a customer may have seen a video on YouTube, may have come to our website and not made a purchase, but a few days later, they get an email, and then the conversion happens. Where now you're able to connect the dots actually with this something technology like a multi-touch attribution and AI to really tie those dots together and understand a lot of the paid media that is not trackable on one-on-one level, that will allow you to do that. And the other one we are looking at is really bringing this online personalization beyond email to web as well. So think about a use case where we send you an email based on what you have bought in the past, what you have recently visited. You click on that and your loyalty points, and then you go to the web, and that same experience actually carries forward. So in the past, these web and email were using different data sources because the technology was not there. But now with the technology like Treasure Data, we can use that technology in real time to feed and power our different channels, in this case, email and web. So that would be the future for us with next steps.
Exciting. Another question I wanted to ask is, for people who might just be getting started with their journey with CDPs, what advice could you give someone who's kind of new to it or just getting started?
Yeah, to me, the first thing you should ask yourself is, why a CDP? At the heart of it, it's the customer data, but how are you going to action on that customer data? So I would spend time asking yourself, how are you going to action it? And once you have an idea about, hey, this is the way I want to action it, the double click into that happens is, hey, what is the technology that is going to allow you to do that? The other thing I will tell you is, in this day and age, nothing has to be 3 months or 6 months. You already heard a lot about AI. You heard a lot about the technology innovation, the cloud presentation from Amazon. So everything can be done really fast. So once you have identified what is that you want to get out of your customer data, how would it make their experiences more frictionless, then look at the technology on what will allow you to do that. And if CDP is the answer, then that's what you need to do. But personally, I would start with business first and look how that data could be used.
All right. Well, I think we're out of time, so I just want to say thank you so much, Sachin, for the conversation. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.